Hello, it's the Curious Love back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman. Oh man, doesn't it just always feel great to get Game of Thrones back again? I just always feel like I wait all summer and fall and winter, and then finally I get just a few brief weeks in the spring where my favorite TV show is back. Oh man, Game of Thrones is so good, isn't it? Well, this episode certainly was an episode. I didn't hate it. I feel like it was very much a clip show. That's not to say that Game of Thrones hasn't done stuff like this before, where they have like just certain... there's so many characters in this show that they have to do this every once in a while, where you've got episodes that are very much like, we touch with this character, then we touch with this character, then we touch with this character. Before everybody starts freaking out, I did really like the episode. I just feel like it was not a super strong season premiere. I think that after all the craziness that happened at the end of the last season, there were a few things that I feel like if you're going to be watching this in order, it's going to feel very much just like ramped up tension and then just like a huge drop off. So we'll see going forward, obviously. That's more my overall feeling. Let's go ahead and break it down kind of by plot line, by scene, because really no character got more than one scene with the exception of the Night's Watch. Everyone else just had their one little catch-up moment, which is why I felt like I was very much like, there isn't a plot to this episode. It was just kind of like, here's what these people are doing, here's what these people are doing, here's what these people are doing. So we'll go ahead and kind of break it down scene by scene and sort of see where everybody's at. I'm just going to go ahead and start with kind of my least favorite, or what I feel like is the least important scene, and work my way through to what I feel like are the most important scenes. So we're going to start off with Arya, who I sort of feel like was just placed in there to be like, hey, Arya's still alive? You still blind, girl? Okay, cool, bye. Didn't really get a lot from her, just that the fact that she's blind is obviously very much affecting her. She's obviously been cast out and is all alone and is begging for money. Just a little check-in, nothing super important happened in that scene. Obviously, I'm sure her plot will move forward as the episodes go on, but for this episode, it just felt like we just checked up on her for kind of just to make sure she's still alive. Over in King's Landing, we have another what I feel like was just very much just sort of, hey, you guys still being jerks? Cool. Jaime returns with Marcella's body, and Cersei was surprisingly cool about it. I mean, obviously she was upset. I'm not saying she wasn't upset, but this is Cersei Lannister. And I don't care that she was just made to walk through the streets naked with all of her hair cut off. Like, I get that can be humiliating, but this is Cersei Lannister. She does not take things lying down, and this is one humiliating moment in her life. She should be the person who, like, gets back up and is like, what? My daughter's dead? Like, I am going to Dorne right now, and I'm going to kill every last one of them. But she's just kind of like, oh, she's going to be so ugly when she's in her coffin. I don't know. Just felt like another check-in scene. Obviously, again, just like with Arya, things are going to move forward as time goes on. Over in Dany's neck of the woods, this is another reason why I think this episode was very clip showy. You have Dany, and then you have Tyrion Varys, and then you have her little lover boys. Like, these are all people that would normally all be part of one plot line that are split off into 3 different plot lines. So we kind of got like a scene from Tyrion and Varys, and it was just sort of them walking along, and then all of a sudden boats are burning, and we have Dany, who had more than just a scene, but it was just a single sequence. I mean, you just had her sort of, being a little bit of a big mouth. She has a lot of confidence. Certainly not unwarranted, but when you are, like, handcuffed, essentially, you should probably think before you're just like, F you and the horse you rode it on. But yeah, so we'll see what's going on with her. Again, it was just sort of reaffirming that we know that she's with the Horde, and she's not in the best position, and sort of what's going on back with her cohorts that are looking for her and trying to decide what to do since she is missing. And now we have some of the plots that I think are actually moving forward in this episode. The first one being Dorne. I can't believe they didn't have this at the end of last season. Like, this was such a cool scene, and I'm really glad that it was in the premiere, but it seems like something that should have happened at the end of last season. Like, I can imagine them sort of having Marcella sail away, and oh no, she's starting to go, it's, oh, Marcella, are you gonna die? And then we come back to Dorne, and the Sand Snakes are taking over, and they freaking kill the prince through the back of his head. That was crazy and awesome. Like, I gasped. I had no idea. I was like, okay, his dad's dead. Maybe he's gonna be the one that is sort of like carrying on everything that had to do with Oberyn, but no, we're just gonna keep going with Elaria and the Sand Snakes. So see what's going on with them. I mean, obviously there's been a bit of a coup. So Dorne feels like it's definitely gonna be in a little bit of turmoil, and maybe that's part of the reason why stuff isn't happening at King's Landing right now, just to sort of show that Dorne will be the main focus of what is happening. Up north, we have Theon and Sansa, who are running for their lives, and I never thought I'd say this, but I was totally on Theon's side. Like, he kept doing things, and I was like, oh, Theon, oh, you're kind of back a little bit. Like, it's good to see that even after all of the stuff that he's been through, he is able to break out of that, I guess, and kind of help Sansa and realize the things that he's done and sacrifice himself for her. And I think that part of that is just because he's had, like, a master for so long that he's sort of substituting Sansa in for that. But yeah, it was cool to see him protecting her and wanting to step up and be like, hey, I'm gonna be there for you even though I haven't in the past. And then, of course, my babe, Brienne. Oh, she is just one of my favorite characters. I love her so much, and I am so happy that she finally was able to kind of fulfill her oath keeper indeed, that she will be with Sansa. And it's cool to see that those two plot lines have now converged, because like I said, there's a lot of plots going on and it's hard to keep up with all of them, so it's good to see some characters coming together. And Theon did suggest that, you know, they go up north to see Jon. Obviously they don't know that he's dead, but I think we'll probably see a convergence of those two plot lines just because they don't have anywhere else to run, and they feel like that's going to be a safe place for them to hide out from the crazy people that are a little bit south of them. Speaking of up north, we have the Wall, and this was definitely called the Red Woman for a reason. I mean, we had a couple of good things with Davos, but I don't think anybody was surprised that Davos would be a good guy. He's a good guy. I mean, in a show full of just jerks, he is one of the people that I think consistently tries to do the right thing and tries to be a good person. And of course, he is immediately going to pick up Jon's body and protect it and get together the merry men that all support Jon and kind of be like, yeah, we're going to have a standoff. And yay, Ghost. I love Ghost. Ghost is always awesome when he gets to actually do stuff, even if it was just growling this episode. But the Red Woman, I mean, gosh. I'm so excited seeing going forward. And obviously, I love Jon Snow. I want him to be alive, or I want him to be resurrected from the dead, because obviously he is dead. He's dead. So I was so happy that this was called the Red Woman, and like going into this, I was like, yes, they're going to resurrect him. It's going to be great. And it seems like Melisandre is going through just a little bit of a midlife crisis. She's definitely doubting her powers. I think she's doubting her god, and she doesn't know if maybe she's been crazy this whole time, or if maybe she hasn't been crazy, but the Lord of Light has like abandoned her. And I think a lot of this going forward is going to be her dealing with that. And hopefully, I mean, this is just me, obviously it might not go this way, but hopefully through realizing that she is good and she does have powers, we have seen it over and over again, she will realize that she can be of help and that her prophecy will come true when she saw Jon in the fire, that she can resurrect him. And hopefully that will come to fruition, or at least in some form or another. I mean, I know that I hope that Jon is resurrected, but even if it doesn't happen, I do want to see her kind of get back up on her feet. And wow, we saw her extremely vulnerable at the end of the episode. And I know that a lot of people are just talking about the like, oh, she looks so old. But regardless of that, I think that it was more a way to show just how vulnerable she feels, how downtrodden she feels, and she's just completely taking everything off. I mean, she's not putting up any pretenses when she's there alone in her room. And just that simple scene of her getting into bed was so powerful, I think, just showing how down she feels. And it's really going to show a cool kind of character arc for her to have gone so low and to hopefully, I'm assuming, get back up from that. Just a couple of wrap-up things real quick. The Night's Watch continues to be my favorite plot line. I love Jon Snow, but regardless of that, I think that just the crows are all awesome, and I love everything to do with their like hierarchy and everybody kind of like bickering, and I'm a huge underdog story person, so them all being like shut in that room, closet, pantry, or whatever they are, kind of being like, hey, like we're gonna stand here and fight until we can't fight anymore, is a plot line that I always really enjoy. So I'm excited to see where that is going forward. I really still refuse to believe that Jon is permanently dead. Until Mel is dead herself, Jon is not gone. She's my hope. Come on, Mel, you can do this. And just one thing that was strangely missing, Stannis the Manus was nowhere to be found, which still leads me to believe that he is alive. The Bran did spare him at the end of last season. We did not see him die. We saw a split second before she would have chopped off his head, and honestly, I think that she just put her sword into the tree or into the ground or something like that and was like, hey, I'm sparing your life. You need to, like, get up and stop being such, like, a downtrodden person. Like, you are king. You're a royalty. So I'm hoping that she showed some compassion and that will, in turn, cause Stannis to kind of get his butt in gear. But we'll see going forward. I'm excited for next week. I have not watched any trailers for next week. I'm trying to stay as unspoiled as possible going forward, especially because everyone is unspoiled right now, what with the fact that it's a TV show that now no longer has explicit source material. So going forward, I'm excited, but I'm tentative because we have no idea what's happening. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode, Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman. Did you think that it was very clip showy too? That's just kind of the vibe I got because it was so like, there's no real plot to the episode. There's just sort of like checking in with all these characters. What was your favorite scene? What do you think is going to be happening next? Do you think Jon's dead or are you like me and you hope that he will be brought back to life? I mean, obviously he's dead now. Just mean like, is he dead for good? But yeah, all right, I will see you guys next week for more Game of Thrones. Bye.